You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments below, and be sure to smash that like button. It is talking season, y'all. And, of course, talking season really begins with SEC Football Media Days, which we will be at a week from Monday, so we're less than 2 weeks away. And this is also the time when preseason magazines start hitting the shelves and we start to see all the preseason All-America teams. And, of course, our guy in the preeminent college football preseason magazine is none other than our buddy Phil Steele, who's a great guest and a great friend of the show and is good enough to be with us all throughout every football season, has been for some time now. So we, of course, appreciate Phil and the work that he does. If you're a college football fan, everybody knows and appreciates Phil Steele's work. Well, Phil Steele has released his preseason All-America teams. And there are 4 preseason All-America teams: first team, second team, third team, fourth team, offense, defense, special teams. I won't bury the lead here. 5 LSU Tigers made the preseason All-America teams as determined by Phil Steele. On offense, you had Malik Neighbors, who was a second-teamer. Will Campbell was a third-teamer. And tight end Mason Taylor was a fourth-team preseason All-American. Defensively, you had 2 players. You had Harold Perkins on the first team and Mekhi Wingo on the third team. So only one first-teamer, Harold Perkins, and then the others that I mentioned. Offensively, you had Malik Neighbors, Will Campbell, Mason Taylor. Defensively, Harold Perkins and Mekhi Wingo. I'm okay with this, by the way. And we try this every year, preseason and postseason. If you feel like someone got snubbed and someone should be on there, well, you got to take somebody off. Well, who are you going to take off if you add someone, and who would you add? My real takeaways, though, have nothing to do with LSU. I will get to players that I think have a great chance to be on this postseason list in just a second. But there's a couple of real takeaways that I have. Number one, I would have thought for certain that we would have seen more USC, Southern Cal, guys on this list. Caleb Williams is a first-teamer offensively. And wide receiver Taj Washington is a third-teamer. And Justin Dedich, their center, is a fourth-teamer. That's it, offensively, from USC. You would think with that offense, with Lincoln Riley, that what they did in the transfer portal, that offense would be primed for a much bigger season with better talent. Defensively at USC, Kalen Bullock, first-team All-America safety. And that's it. So for a team that's going to be in everybody's preseason top 5, and that has really the best odds after Bama, Georgia, to win the national championship, right there with, say, Michigan or Ohio State, it's odd to see such a dearth of USC players on the preseason All-America. And that's 4 preseason All-America teams. And they've got just 4 players. But maybe the biggest surprise to me is Alabama. Kool-Aid McKinstry, first-team All-America cornerback. Dallas Turner, second-team All-American at linebacker. And that's it, defensively. And offensively, Alabama's got J.C. Latham. Their offensive tackle is a second-teamer. That's it. There is no Alabama player first-team All-American on offense. And among 4 All-America squads, there is one player, one Alabama player among 4 preseason All-America squads by Phil Steele. That is a major yo. Normally, we see Alabama skill guys there, receivers, running backs, quarterback with Bryce Young last year. Bama has always turned out offensive linemen, and among four All-America squads, Alabama's got one player, J.C. Latham, second-teamer offensive tackle. Y'all, I know I've said this a bunch this offseason. You're going to hear me say it more as we lead up to the season, and certainly it'll be, I'm sure, a heavy talking point at media days. This is the first time, maybe in Nick Saban's entire time in Tuscaloosa, that he's got to prove it. Alabama's got to prove it this year. And we keep seeing more and more validation to that point. You know the story. They lost both coordinators. Bill O'Brien is back in the NFL with the Patriots. Your defensive coordinator left you to go to Ole Miss. Like Pete Golding. You played a handful of coin flip games a year ago. You lost 2 of them. You won 3 of them. You escaped Texas. You escaped Texas A&M. You escaped Ole Miss. You lost to Tennessee, lost to LSU. No Bryce Young. You have no proven talent offensively. I mean, this is a real challenge for what Alabama is going to be offensively. Replacing Bryce Young, new offensive coordinator. We know the situation at quarterback in spring, so much so that you had to go get a backup at Notre Dame to come compete for your starting quarterback job. They got problems. They got real problems in Tuscaloosa this year. That's not just LSU radio guy fabricating some opinion. I'm the guy that's always said they get the benefit of the doubt because they've earned it. It's him. It's Nick. He earns it. It's Nick. Of course. Yeah, just pencil him in. Not this year. Real questions at quarterback. Gigantic questions replacing both coordinators. And when I'm looking at 4 preseason All-America teams from Phil Steele, and there's 1 Alabama player on it, you want to talk about an outlier? That's an outlier. Now, part of this conversation always goes back to, okay, well, I would always rather have players on a postseason All-America list than a preseason list. Preseason list is expectations. Postseason is, this is what you did over the course of the year. And maybe with LSU, and you look at just having 1 first-teamer and Harold Perkins, but Malik Neighbors, Will Campbell, Mekhi Wingo, Mason Taylor, you got dudes on this list. The real question is, certainly LSU could be an instance of the whole being greater than the sum of the parts. That's what you want, really, in any team sport. You want the whole to be greater than the sum of the parts. You want them to behave in unison and achieve more. Now, in years where you have the whole and the sum of the parts is a whole bunch of NFL guys, then you have LSU 2019, which that is it's a one-off, once and forever type situation. But I was looking at it, what players not on the preseason All-America list might be on the postseason All-America list, and I have 4 of them. I'll go ahead and give them to you if you'd like. 4. Where did the 4 come from, Muse?
I really just found a random counting video on YouTube that teaches children how to count.
Can I hear 4 again?
Sure.
4. Okay, 4 is Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas, I think we all know where LSU sits at receiver. Malik Neighbors is coming back, but you lose Kayshon Boutte and you lose Jure Jenkins to the draft. Somebody has to step up and replace that production. And if LSU is going to be the team that we all think and hope they can be, and Jaden Daniels, who threw for 2,900 yards last year, if he throws for 3,500 yards or 4,000 yards this season, someone is going to have to be the recipient of those passes. We know Malik Neighbors, who was a 1,000-yard receiver a year ago, is right there. Well, who is most likely to step up? Well, it would be Brian Thomas. Mason Taylor was your third. Last year was Malik, Kayshon, Mason Taylor, Jure, and Brian Thomas. So if you're just looking at receivers, with Kayshon and Jure gone, Brian Thomas is the most likely to step up and have that type of season. So I would go Brian Thomas next.
3.
I kind of want to hear just the whole thing.
It's something.
Okay, I believe it. 3, I'm going to give you Jaden Daniels. And for very obvious reasons. Now, you look at the preseason All-Americas from Phil Steele. Picture. You're going to see Caleb Williams. You're going to see Drake May. You're going to see Michael Penix, who, of course, Caleb Williams won the Heisman. Michael Penix was the nation's passing leader a year ago. Phil Steele's got Bo Nix fourth as the fourth team All-American in the preseason. This may seem like a stretch, but there's no reason to think that if Jaden Daniels has the type of seasons we think he can have, if he does throw for 3,000 yards and runs for 1,000 yards and LSU wins 11 games and wins the West and he will be in those conversations. If Jaden Daniels throws for 3,500 yards, rushes for 1,000 yards, he's got a seat in New York at the Heisman presentation. I don't know if that will happen, but there is a great chance that it will happen. Like if you ask me right now, who do I think has a better 2023? Jaden Daniels or Bo Nix? I'm taking Jaden Daniels. Better supporting cast, better player, better running ability, less turnover prone. So, yeah, I think Jaden Daniels absolutely could be on that list. Go ahead.
2.
This sounded so much better in my head when I thought about piecing this together.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's see if this makes it any better.
Probably not. Okay, maybe.
This could work.
Yeah, probably should have done that from the beginning.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone in this room is hungover still from yesterday.
Yesterday was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know. Muse, I know. I saw your gram.
Yeah.
Pool party, beers everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're hungover over there. That's why you're avoiding the microphone, not saying much.
Might have sliced my knee open on the edge of a pool. Might have happened. Can't confirm or deny.
Yeah. Paul, are you hungover too?
Nah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Paul.
You want me to hit the number 2 again?
Yeah, why not? Like it even matters. We're so late now. Just ruin this whole thing. 2 is Omar Speights. Someone's got to be a 100-tackle guy in the middle of this defense. If LSU is going to be a championship contender like we think they can be, somebody has to replace the production from Micah Baskerville. It's likely to be Omar Speights. He was first team All Pac-12 a year ago. You just replace that from playing in Corvallis to now playing in Baton Rouge. Yes, Omar Speights very much could be that guy.
1.
And the most obvious is Mason Smith, Agent Zero. Are we going to call him Agent Zero?
We are now.
Is that a thing that's happening?
It is now. Yeah,
Okay.
That's awesome.
Mason Smith is the most obvious. He should be on these lists anyway. The only reason he's not is he missed all of last year with a knee injury. As a matter of fact, he was on a lot of preseason All-America lists a year ago, and then he got injured in the first defensive series against Florida State. We all know Mason Smith's story. Number 1 defensive tackle in the country. Best player on LSU's team a year ago, breaking fall camp. Completely unblockable, and then he misses the entire season. If Mason Smith is healthy and plays a full season, I can't see a scenario where he's not on postseason All-America list. I don't know if it'll be first team or second team or third team or whatever it may be. But that dude, when he's healthy and playing, is a total disruptive force. And I'd love to see LSU get a full season out of him before he goes off to the pros and becomes a gajillionaire. Just stay healthy, and Mason Smith is the most obvious to be on a postseason All-America list. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.